Well, I don't really know very much about malpractice. Obviously, it's when doctors do the wrong thing, and it's bad. I don't know any specific examples, but I know there are definite cases and doctors spend a lot of money on malpractice insurance.
Do you think that you would want to know more about this issue?
Only if I was having a major surgery or something like that.
Okay, so do you think that this information is important for you to know?
Not at the moment, but it would be in that specific surgery like situation.
What is your knowledge of malpractice?
Not that much. I mean, I know the definition and what it is, but other than that, I don't know that much about it.
Have you heard of any examples of malpractice?
None that I can think of off the top of my head.
Do you think that you should know more about this issue?
I think we should, but like me personally, I'm not quite sure about.
Do you think this information would be important or of value to you?
I mean, not like as of this moment in time, but I think it'd be a good thing to know eventually.
Medical malpractice concerns all of us, and we need to take an active part in our healthcare to combat this growing problem. Medical malpractice is defined as the failure of omission of professional skill that results in injury, loss, or damage.
What are some examples of common incidents of malpractice that occur in the medical field?
Well, I think, unfortunately, for the most part, many of them involve medications, and that tends to be the most common thing. There are wrong site surgeries, things left in. But for the most part, generally when malpractice occurs, it's just not intentional. I think there are some things that could be considered that way, but for the most part, medications tend to be involved quite frequently.
The problem Americans are facing today is the lack of information provided to the public. Many people don't know what malpractice is or why it occurs. As patients, we have rights and responsibilities that we need to be more aware of, such as the right to know what's in our medication and exactly why it is being given to us. Too often, patients don't ask questions leading to disastrous outcomes.
In addition, patients aren't learning enough about their personal care, resulting in longer recovery times. The fault is on both the patient and the doctor. But how can this communication be improved? How do we reduce the amount of incidents and improve the communication?
Probably wrong site surgeries, injuries with surgeries. For nursing, it is more negligence or doing a wrong procedure without the patient's consent.
According to Pamela Homer, advertisement size acts as a cost cue and thus can communicate to consumers the amount of advertising effort expended by an advertiser. So people assume that if an ad is bigger, the advertiser has more money and is therefore a better business or has reliable information that is accurate and true. So maybe instead of completely focusing on brochures and pamphlets in the office, medical professionals need to look at informing people on a bigger scale.
There is also a darker side to giving the public too much information.
At 5 p.m.
Now at 5:30, a major medical mistake leads to a lawsuit. A lawyer says his client lost her arms and legs because of what happened during surgery. Welcome back to CBS 2 News at 5. I'm Paul Majors.
And I'm Pat Harvey. Now, it was supposed to be a routine surgery, but Annette Ramirez no longer has arms or legs. CBS 2's Randy Page talked with her lawyer about the case just filed.
In August, 48-year-old Annette Ramirez went in for a routine hysterectomy. Today, 4 months later, she's lost both arms and legs, and she's still in the hospital. What happened?
The individuals involved ignored the obvious signs of a massive infection that was occurring over 40 hours. And so when everything falls apart, you get a catastrophic outcome.
The newscasts and other forms of media are not the best way to get malpractice information out to the public. They see all these incidents and become frightened, thinking those incidents are more prevalent than they really are. As well, many newscasts do not present all the information people need to know. There are many holes within the story, and this leads to more lawsuits and more doctors being held under speculation for frivolous incidents.
A survey conducted by The Public Agenda, a nonprofit organization that helps citizens and leaders work together to find solutions to public issues, 61% of the people report that there are too many lawsuits being filed against doctors. This chart shows that people have been suing for frivolous incidents just to receive the insurance money, and too many innocent doctors are accused, taking them away from their work.
Staying within your standards of practice, not skipping the steps that we've put in place, like marking the right arm or the left arm wherever we're doing surgery, and before surgery having a stop, that we've got the right patient, we're doing the right procedure on the right body part.
And so you always have to be very dedicated, very organized, paying attention to details. You have to be aware of all the knowledge you have, and I think that most importantly, you have to be aware of what you don't know, and never be afraid to ask. If for instance, I go into a patient's room and I have a bunch of medications and I hand them to them, and they look at them and they go, "I have never seen that pill before in my life." Well, it could just be that it's a different manufacturer, it could be a different generic for that particular pill, but if a patient asks me a question, I have never been afraid to say, "Okay, well, give me that one back. I'm going to go back down, check, make sure that I have the right pills, and I'll be back." And so that really has to be the most important thing, is to never be afraid to admit that you could be wrong, you might have the wrong medication. We all make mistakes, and we hope that they're not going to be severe ones, but we have to be willing to accept that we might make them and that we acknowledge it when we do.
The more educated we are as patients, the more we can hold medical professionals accountable for their mistakes. More work needs to be done to make the general public aware of the identity of those doctors who are repeat offenders in the medical malpractice area. People need to know that their doctors know what they are doing and do not make mistakes.
Well, I think that, the technology offers a lot of capability. And so the fact that now, you go to give a person their medications, and so you scan their armband, and then you scan their medication, and if it's the wrong dose, it's going to alert you. If the person's allergic to it, it's going to alert you. If you have the wrong patient, it's going to alert you. However, we have to remember that technology also has its limits, and sometimes it's not right either. So, as far as what we can do, that's where the education, I think, comes into play, is educating people about the things they can do, the steps that they can take to make sure that these kinds of things don't happen. Because really, most of those things, wrong site surgeries, wrong medications, all of those should be what they call never events. They shouldn't happen.
The goal is to find the right balance between presenting the public with enough information so they are better informed and will take a more active role in their healthcare, and not presenting them with too much information so that panic will ensue and the wrong idea will be communicated. Doctors need to inform patients without creating a sense of fear or distrust.